Today, I'm going to show you how to go from this plain navigation bar to this cool custom one. So let's get started. All right, first, let's start by adding our navigation view. So to get a navigation bar to show, you of course have to have it in a navigation view. So we're going to add a navigation stack. And our root is just going to be this plain old starting SwiftUI view. A nice classic hello world. But as you can see over here, that doesn't do much for us. We have to do more work to get our buttons and colors and even the bar up there to show. All right, to get started and get things showing here, we have to add a toolbar. That's right, a toolbar. You see in SwiftUI, the navigation bar is just a toolbar. And so we do that by doing the dot toolbar. And we can add our content. The first thing we want to do is add an item, a toolbar item with its content. And we're going to just add a button, say button. And we'll just give it a text, say done, classic. And boom, here we go. Now we got a toolbar button. Well, I'm pleased with the progress. What if we want to move this button over here to the left side? To do that, we utilize the placement parameter. And you can see here, there is, a lot of options. We have automatic, bottom bar, that's if you have a toolbar on the bottom, keyboard, so if you have a keyboard that's popping up, you can have a bar on top of there. And we're gonna look for the one we want, top bar, leading. There you go, we moved it right over. And if you put multiple with that same parameter, it'll just show up right next to it. So that's pretty cool. And let's change this now to say catalog. And there we go. We are getting the beginning. I hope you're finding these tips useful. If you are, please take a moment to like and subscribe. All right, let's go ahead and add another one for our settings. We're going to do the top bar trailing. That's great. And let's set it here. Let's change this so it uses an image label. We're going to do a image, system image, and we're just going to use here. Okay, looking good. We got an image. It looks pretty good. And well, what about the title? What about the title? We got to have a title. So for that, you can put it in here. You use the .navigation title and say stem box. Okay, well it's all down below. What if we want it inline? So to do that, we do navigation bar title display mode. Here you got automatic, inline, or large. So what you see on the screen is large. Inline is going to move it inside the navigation bar, and automatic will change it as you want. And that looks nice, but what if I want to use a custom image? For instance, here in my assets, I've got this cool little image here that says stem fox, but it's got colors. It's kind of custom. And I want to put that in my toolbar. So to do that, you add another toolbar item. And I'm going to make its placement the principal. Okay. And then I'm going to add an image. And there I'm going to use the title icon. Oh, see, now we got it showing up, but it looks kind of terrible. So let's make this resizable. And let's lock in its aspect ratio with fit. And that's getting better all the time. Now let's limit its width, maybe. Let's do frame width. And let's give it, say, 50. Oh, no, that's too cool. Let's do 75. All right, looks pretty good. But now we got another problem. It is not the right color. It doesn't look great. So that's what we're going to handle next. All right, this is where SwiftUI starts to get a little funky. So to add a toolbar, we just can say, I want to add a toolbar background. And the shape style, I'm going to do color dot my primary background, and my placement, I want it on the navigation bar. And nothing happened. So what's going on here? Well, if we put this in a scroll view and then we scroll up, oh, there's our background. There it is. So to get it to show up all the time, we do toolbar background visibility, and I want it always visible. And for my placement, again, navigation bar, and voila, we now have a background. Scrolling or not scrolling, it's always there. And that is how you handle coloring a toolbar or the navigation bar. So this looks good, but we actually have kind of an issue. So let's say we have a detail view. I'm just going to add it here. Just says detail view. And we're going to add a navigation link here. And we're going to go to our detail view. Let's do text. Detail view. Perfect. Okay, so now let's go in, and what do you think we should see? Well, where did our bar go? It's gone, right? All the color's gone. This is not what we wanted. And so to get those things, we could copy this stuff onto every single page. That's kind of a pain. So, oh, great. Now we got that. But it's not what we want. That's going to be a lot of work. So I'm going to show you a trick to get it to show up on all of your stuff. And it's going to be great. What we want is for those backgrounds to show up everywhere all the time. And to do that, we're going to have to use UI appearance like we did in our last navigation bar video. All right, to show you that, first let's remove what we've done so far. There we go. And let's go into our app. And here we're going to override the init. And we're going to add this appearance. And this is a navigation bar appearance. And we are going to set some of the background stuff. So we're in here, we're going to go UI color dot background. And then we're going to say, this is where we call in the UI appearance protocol. So UI navigation bar dot appearance dot, and here we're going to say our scroll edge appearance is going to be appearance. And we're going to do this again with our regular setting, standard appearance. So that's going to handle both when we have the scroll bar under it and when we have it just sitting there. So now if we go back into our view, voila. And then if we go into our detail view, it's still there. We still have everything we want. And that is exactly what we wanted. Now, a cool thing to note is that if we go back here, back into our content view, we can now override it on a per view basis. So here we have our main view. Let's say we keep it, our nice background color. But let's say here in our detail view, we want to override it. So we're going to do back into the back, toolbar background. We're going to set that to, say, our alert color. Navigation bar, and we're going to have to set that visible. Toolbar visibility, or background visibility dot visible dot navigation bar. So now if we go into here, we have that green color instead. So we can mix and match if we want to, and that is a useful ability. All right, our next job is to color the buttons. We want them white. And to do that, you could go in here and you could say the foreground style and say, make that white. That'd be great. Then you could go to this one, you say foreground style, make this guy white. And that works, right? You can do it on each one. Or you can mix and match by saying, you know what, I want this to be the action color. And then we got the nice action color one there. Or if you want to make it global, you could set the tint on the view and go, all right, tint. I'm going to make this say action for now. Okay, that's nice. But The problem with this one is if you go into the detail view, again, it only applies on a per view basis. And so we don't get the tint being applied everywhere. To remedy this, one way of making it global, and the only one that I know of, is that you go into here in your assets and you change your accent color. And I'm going to change this one to white. So let's go here and let's pick a color. And I'm just going to say it's going to be white. And now if I go into our content view, it'll re-render to our color that we want. See? Oh, it didn't. So it turns out there's a bug in Xcode 26.01 or whatever I'm on, where it doesn't function the way it should here. So you have to do another little trick, and I'm going to show you that right now. So you can definitely see the bug here in the simulator, right? It is blue, even though we've set our accent color to be white. But if you even run the simulator, it will still show up as blue. So here it comes. And it's blue. Now, what I found to beat that is if we go to the actual root of the app and we hit the tint color here, we're going to set it to the accent color, and then let's run it. That has the effect that we want on the rest of the app. Here we go. Great. And now even when we go into the detail view, we still have our lovely white color in this navigation bar. So that's a good little tip to figure out that little problem. The last thing we're going to talk about is how to hide the toolbar. So we've gone through all this work. We've made it beautiful, even though the simulator is lying to us and this is lying to us. But we want to hide it now. Let's say we go, hey, under certain circumstances, we need it hidden. Well, you've already seen the API for this. This is toolbar visibility. And instead of visible like we chose last time, we just say hidden. And that's for our navigation bar. And then bada bing, bada boom, it shows up there. But it's visible on this one. And it's hidden there. And this one, I don't know a better way to do that. I think this is always going to be on a per view basis. So if we want it hidden on both, go there. Then when it's pushed, it disappears. You can also tie this up to an action where if we push a button up here, that we could change it to be hidden or shown, and you can animate that. Anyways, that's how you hide it. You can hide it at will on a per view basis. So now that you're a navigation bar specialist, what are you going to do? How are you going to use these superpowers? Who are you going to impress? Share in the comments. Let's hear about it.